Everyone, it's Cam from Arsenal here with a breakdown review of the friendly yesterday between Man United and Arsenal. United ended up victorious, 2-0. Very disappointing result, especially as going into the game, I was actually quite confident. Arsenal had got most of their business done very early in the season, had most of their players for as long as you could really have them for during pre-season. From the outside, United look a bit of a mess. They've only just signed a goalie. They've got an owner situation kind of developing, and yeah, I was very confident on the day. Although actually, as the game did get closer, I just start thinking, you know what United are like. One thing they're very good at being is efficient, and that kind of proved to be the difference between the two teams yesterday. Really, Arsenal made two mistakes, but let's get back to the beginning of the game really and kind of go through it in stages. I thought Arsenal started off really well. The first kind of 5-10 minutes, we were knocking it about, creating lots of pressure, uh, lots of pressing as well. It looked like we were in a very kind of fluid sort of situation on the pitch. Talking of the pitch, I mean, if America want to have more friendlies like this, then we need to demand better pitches because that pitch was terrible. It was like one pitch made up of about 20 different pitches. It looked like it had just been cut and pasted together. The grass looked different lengths and different shades of colour in different parts of the pitch. And it's not an excuse, but it did feel like it affected the pitch. The state of the pitch affected Arsenal more than United. It looked like we were kind of having to take maybe just kind of like 10% off the pace of our passes to deal with how terrible the pitch was. And I think United, and fair play to them, I think United adapted to the pitch a lot better than Arsenal did. But like I said, we started the game very well and should have gone 1-0 up. Martinelli had a couple of bites at the cherry, and each time he just let the goalie make a save. I don't know why he couldn't have just put them into the roof of the net. He's usually quite efficient and isn't scared to put his foot through the ball, but he just seemed to want to pass it or just not put his full effort behind it. So that was disappointing. And typical United, Arsenal, we didn't score the goal, and then United just take advantage of that. They have a nice move, get to the edge of our area. Fernandez, congratulations to him, United captain now as well, scored in his captain's debut, so to speak. Um, about 25 yards out, it was kind of wasn't really into the full bottom right hand side of the goal, but it kind of bounced just in front of Ramsdale, and Ramsdale just made a complete hash of it, proper cocked it up, and it went into the net, and that was 1-0. And it was pretty bad from Ramsdale. You could tell looking at his face afterwards, he was trying to put a brave face on it, but he knew that wasn't good enough, and it's a real shame we don't have more kind of pressure behind him because for him to get dropped, he's really going to have to make consecutively bad errors for Matt Turner to be able to kind of put Ramsdale under serious pressure. And it was a really bad save, goal to let in, but it happened. I thought he recovered reasonably well from it. I mean, it didn't look like he let it affect him for the rest of the game, which I suppose is some kind of a positive if you're going to make errors like that. Um, but the top goalies, they just don't do stuff like that. Alisson, as far as I can recall, doesn't really make those kinds of errors. Ederson, it just doesn't do that. They're just a lot more consistent, and that's one area that Ramsdale's going to have to really make some improvements on if we're going to have a league winning goal, because you won't win the league making errors like that. Um, that goal went in, and it just seemed to drain us, unfortunately, of any of our kind of confidence, any kind of rhythm that we had before that. It just seemed to disappear really after then. We kind of became headless chickeny a bit, running around all over the place. There wasn't really much cohesion between the players, and it was confounded when the ball was kind of lumped up to the United strikers, and Gabriel Magalhaes, I don't know what he was doing, but he took a big fat swing of it and completely airshotted it and missed it. And then Sancho's threw it on goal. To be fair to Sancho, he still had quite a bit to do because I think he had Saliba pressuring him, but Sancho was just always a couple of steps ahead, and he just roofed it into the net. Really, he did what Martinelli should have done. He put his foot through it, bang up into the corner of the net, 2-0, and then it's kind of game over, really. I was actually worried at that point, Matt. No, it's just going to turn into some kind of massacre. I was going to fold. But luckily we didn't. We got through to half time. And then the second half, I mean, we made quite a few changes. And I thought the players that came on, Trossard and Smith Rowe, did quite well. It was nice to see. Actually, when I first saw the pitch, I thought, well, I wouldn't put Smith Rowe on there. But Arteta gave him 20 minutes at the end. And, he looked interested. He looked like he was trying to change the situation. Him and Trossard as well. I thought Jesus was poor in his little kind of 15, 20-minute cameo. He looked off the pace. But we couldn't really bring much together to make an outcome on the game, unfortunately. So in terms of sort of individual performances, obviously Ramsdale and Gabriel let us down. Not good enough. Saliba, I mean, this is another 90 minutes, or not quite 90 minutes, but 70 odd minutes for him, which, considering he didn't really play any football towards the end of last season, he missed the last kind of 2-3 months. Good to just get him some minutes under his belt. I thought we went with Timber at right back, which he looks like he needs time, obviously. Again, that's only his second outing for Arsenal. I think people saying that Ben White's done because Timber's come in are wrong, because I didn't see anything from Timber to make me think that he's going to get ahead of Ben White right now. I think he's got a long way to go to be able to make that kind of claim. Same with Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu starting at left back. I don't think. Surprised he didn't start with Zinchenko, but obviously he has to get a look at everyone, I suppose, really. So I thought Tomiyasu, again, he's been injured for so long. He hasn't played hardly any football. So I suppose, yeah, you have to give him the minutes, but I don't think he really necessarily did anything to make Tierney or Zinchenko worried as such. If you're Tierney, probably not a good sign that Tomiyasu is starting ahead of you, even if it is a friendly. I thought Tierney did well when he came on in the second half as well. He kind of looked interesting, and looked like he was up for it, which is half the battle in these games, really. Some things that did stand out, I thought Declan Rice, up until we kind of went 2-0 down, he just looked like tidy. He just looked tidy and was kind of taking in his surroundings. Havertz was essentially, I felt, kind of anonymous, which is one of the worries that I had when we bought him. But I'm going to be doing another video after this one talking about Havertz and the potential situation we've got on our hands there. So I'm going to save that for later. But in terms of Havertz on the game, he just wasn't, like I said, he didn't really impact it. He had a header in the second half, which he couldn't keep down. I don't really blame him for that. It was quite a tall cross. He's quite tall, obviously, but it wasn't a simple header to do, and it would have been difficult to keep it on target, and it was too difficult for him. I thought Nketiah was given the green light to start, but he kind of flattered to deceive, really, and he had one really good situation from a set piece where Odegaard slipped him in, and he was kind of at like a 45-degree angle, and he was caught between shooting and crossing. And as can happen with certain players when with that situation, is you do neither, and he kind of did neither. And so it was neither a shot nor a cross, and it just went out for a goal kick. But really, we should have scored probably, or at least had something on target from that situation. So couldn't really say you saw anything from him to put Jesus under any kind of a situation. It was disappointing not to see Balogun come on. I hope that Mikel starts with him in the next game against Barcelona. I suspect he won't, but I really want him to, because Nketiah didn't do anything to suggest that he deserves a second start. Jesus, when he came on, was pretty, by his standards, I thought pretty terrible. And so, let's give Balogun a start. Eddie had a start against United. Jesus had a start against the MLS All-Stars. Let's give Balogun a chance against Barcelona, a great team, and let's see what happens. But unfortunately, it didn't really go the way we wanted it to. United, if I was a United fan watching that, I'd be feeling pretty good. I'd be feeling very, very good, because if they're able to keep that efficiency, which is something United have had for a few years now, they have been a very efficient team. They don't need many chances to put a team to bed. And I think maybe they kind of accept that, hey, we're going to be this kind of counter-attacking, counter-punching team because it suits them. Then I'd be quite confident. You've got a great goalie coming in as well, and I'm sure your business isn't done yet either. So I'd be very, very positive if I was United fans. A lot of people complaining about the level of some of the tackles that United players were putting in. Martinez and Maguire, especially Martinez. I mean, he had a horrible tackle on Saka, and Maguire was diving in as well. And my problem with it all is that my problem isn't with the United players doing this, because that's what United do to Arsenal. It's what they've done to us for over 20 years now, is they try and kick us off the park. And at some point, I was just watching this game thinking, when is one of our players going to leave a foot in? Why hasn't someone left something on Martinez, or on Sancho or on Anthony? Why are we just letting them have their way with us? It was very disappointing to not see any of our players kind of just try and get some control back, or just let them know that, hey, you can't have it all your own way here. So very disappointing. I mean, when I look at it, what players could have, Declan could have maybe left something in on someone. Ben White, when he came on, could have maybe done it, but it needed to be done in the first half, really. As soon as they went in on one, we should have gone in on one as well. Tit for tat, but what do I know? I never played the game. So we move on. The next game is on Wednesday. That's like 3 a.m, something like that. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch that one live, unfortunately. Probably not. But, it's a new season. Everything's back again. I can't wait till the season starts. And to be doing more videos as well. And I've made some upgrades along the way. So hopefully you'll start noticing some more quality in the videos that I'm doing for you guys. So thanks again. And I'm going to be having a video on the Kai Havertz situation coming up very, very soon. See you in the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.